Okay, so I wanted to get into a couple passages here. First, starting with Ezekiel 39, um, 21. It says here, I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the judgment I have executed and the hand I have laid on them. From that day forward, the house of Israel should know that I am Yahweh their God, and the nations will know that the house of Israel went into exile on account of their iniquity, because they dealt unfaithfully with me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and handed them over to their enemies, so that they all fell by the sword. I dealt with them according to their uncleanness and transgressions, and I hid my face from them. So this is what the Lord God says: I will now restore the fortunes of Jacob and have compassion on the whole house of Israel. And I will be jealous for my holy name. They will feel remorse for their disgrace and all the unfaithfulness they committed against me, when they lived securely in their land with no one to frighten them. When I bring them back from the peoples and gather them from the countries of their enemies, I will demonstrate my holiness through them in the sight of many nations. They will know that I am Yahweh their God when I gather them to their own land, after having exiled among the nations. And I will leave none of them behind. I will no longer hide my face from them, for I will pour out my spirit on the house of Israel. And this is a declaration of the Lord God. Right now, guys, I feel like we're still in Babylon. So I wanted to go over to Daniel 8. Because I was talking about on my other channel, what this beast system has done. Okay, what this beast system has done, and okay, so Daniel 8. Okay, it says here, Daniel 8:5. I was observing a male goat appeared. As I was observing, a male goat appeared, coming from the west, across the surface of the entire earth, without touching the ground. The goat had a conspicuous horn between his eyes. He came toward the two-horned ram, and I seen standing beside the canal, and it rushed him with savage fury. And I saw approaching the ram, infuriated with him, he struck the ram, shattering his two horns, and the ram was not strong enough to stand against him. And the goat threw him to the ground and trampled upon him, and there was no one to rescue the ram from his power. The male goat became very great, but when he became powerful, the large horn was shattered. Four conspicuous horns came up in its place, pointing toward the four winds of heaven. From one of them a little horn emerged and grew extensively towards the south and the east and toward the beautiful land. It grew as high as the heavenly hosts, and made some of the stars and some of the hosts fall to earth and trampled them. And it made itself great even up to the prince of the hosts, and it removed his daily sacrifice and overthrew the place of his sanctuary because of rebellion. A host together with the daily sacrifice will be given over. The horn will throw the truth to the ground and be successful in whatever it does. And I heard an holy one speaking. And another holy one said to the speaker, "How long will the events of the vision last, the daily sacrifice and the rebellion?" And he said to me, "For 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary will be destroyed." While I, Daniel, was watching the vision, trying to understand it, there stood before me someone who appeared to be a man. And I heard a human voice calling from the middle of the Ulai. Gabriel explained the vision to this man. So he approached me where I was standing. When he came near, I was terrified and fell face down. He said to me, "Son of man, understand what the vision refers to as the time of the end." And while he was speaking to me, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. He touched me and told me to stand up. "I'm here to tell you what will happen at the conclusion at the time of wrath, because it refers to the appointed time of the end. The two-horned ram that you saw represents the kings of Media, and Persia. The shaggy goat represents the king of Greece, and the large horn between his eyes represents the first king. And the four horns that take place of the shattered horn represent the four kingdoms. They will rise from that nation, but without its power. Near the end of their kingdoms, when the rebels have reached the full measure of their sin, an insolent king, skilled in intrigue, will come to the throne. His power will be great, but it will not be his own. He will cause terrible destruction and succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy the powerful along with the holy people, and he will cause deceit to prosper through his cunning, and by his influence in his own mind he will make himself great. He will destroy many in a time of peace, and he will even stand against the Prince of Princes. You see, the Prince of Princes. Now maybe that name doesn't bring anything to your mind. Maybe you don't know what the Prince of Princes, who the Prince of Princes is. As I was trying to show you people, doesn't seem like too many people listen. I told you about a Messiah before the Messiah. Okay? And what was his name? Simon of Perea. Now, who was that Simon? He was the Prince of Princes. That's what he was labeled as, and that's what he was called. Because I tried to talk about him, and people seem to ignore it. And at the same time that this Simon, the Prince of Princes, it was found on an inscription that I, Gabriel, command you in 3 days to live. And it says, "Yet he will be shattered not by human hands." The vision of the evenings and mornings that have been told is true. Now you must seal up the vision, because it refers to many days in the future. And I, Daniel, was overcome and lay sick for days. And I got up and went about the king's business, and I was greatly disturbed by the vision and could not understand it. I hope that helps you better understand it.